Hi, welcome to Arty Crafty Alchemy. I have the June Hedgehog hollow box in front of me. I'm the Arty Crafty Alchemist and let's see what we're going to make. I'm struggling a bit with this card because I wanted to use just items from this box. This paper is giving me nightmares. This is super busy. This is super flowery for a man card. This isn't something that I'd normally pick. However, because I did say I was going to try and use stuff mostly from the box, I sort of have an idea, but I'm not sure if it's going to work. I didn't remember this piece of paper. I kind of remembered this one, but I didn't remember that it was wood grain, so that's not actually going to work for what I'm thinking of doing. What I thought of doing was making a shirt card. Now this is going to be too busy and not allow us to stamp the pocket on it. This side will allow us to stamp the pocket on it, but it's a bit florally. We'll see how we get on. It's a challenge. I do need to find a scrap of paper that will coordinate with that because I want a brown colour or the red, but I'm thinking the brown will work better. And I'd also like to use the embossing powder. Now I hoard my Nina Solar White, so I'm just going to grab a Kmart special card base. I'm trying to decide whether I want this to go all the way to the edge or not. I can always trim it down a bit if it's not going to work. So what I might do is measure my card front just past that line. And I just realised this piece of paper's double-sided, but it doesn't have the same pattern on both sides, so that makes things more challenging. We have these little bits extra that we can use. First of all, what I wanted to do was to create a collar. So we'll have a collar there like that, and I will actually grab a piece of Nina and colour it with a Copic. I don't actually mind that, so I might leave that like that. Now next we need to work out where our pocket's going to go. Now there's a couple of things I want to do. First of all, I want to add a small strip of piping under there that's just going to poke out, and because we've got this colour here, I've decided I'm not covering that up. I'm just going to cut a line, and I'm not even going to go all the way up to the top. I'm just going to mark that where I want it to go. But first I'm going to grab some buttons because I want to put some buttons on this shirt. I'm going to put one here as if it's holding the collar in place and some buttons down here, so that will determine where I'm going to put the line. So I am actually trying to find a bunch of buttons that look the same, preferably brown if I can find some. I've also bought my cream and my black out just in case I can't find enough of the one button. I do have these buttons, and I know I have quite a few of those. Well, I have these little tiny ones. These might work better. So let's find a bunch of buttons that may work. I do not know why there are green buttons in here. I'm pretty sure I have a green container. So I'm just trying to find similar buttons. We do have lots of those tiger stripy ones. I'm just not sure if they are too big. So I'm just going to try and find a bunch of buttons that are very similar. So I'm thinking that that might be what we have to go with because I don't seem to have enough of anything else in that. I will have a look in my other buttons, but I'm actually thinking I do like the way they look. So here's my black and grey button stash, and I just think the black's going to be too harsh on there. Now I do have white and cream, so let's just have a look at how the white and cream look on there. Again, I just don't think that is the right colour for the card, so I'm not even going to waste my time going through that one. I also have some of these buttons by the looks of it. Let's have a look. Again, they're rather big though. I was hoping to have something that looks like this button, but it's just not happening. So let's have a look. There's only two of those, unfortunately. Not sure. Let's have a look and see. Button here, a button here, a button here. They're too pale. I don't like them. I quite like them if I only do 3 buttons. There's only 2 of them, which means there's not enough. I think they're just the wrong colour and they're a bit too high. So let's try this one. by far I think I like this button the best, and I think we can get away with 3 buttons, so I'm going to keep those ones. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is work out where I want my pocket, because I don't want it too close to the edge. Now I'm going to use all 1 sheet of paper for this because I don't have more than one, so I am going to cut straight into this piece of paper. I think I am happy with that there. That gives me a little bit of room for some buttons. I'm going to cut a line down there. Now this time I think I may actually cut first and then do the stamping, and I'm going to try and find a brown ink to stamp with. I'm just trying to make sure my side line is straight so that we'll have a somewhat straight pocket. I'm happy with that. I will cut that out. I'm also going to cut the dad die out. I have the dad die. I am going to cut a bunch of these out and lay them up like I have in previous cards, a la Jennifer Maguire. I find that it's the easiest way to get some dimension with our words, and I'm going to use our beautiful embossing powder on that today, but I will wait till I have stacked them up first to make it easier. While I was up, I also made myself a cup of chai tea because I'm so cold. I'm not a big tea drinker, but I have discovered chai. I do drink peppermint tea. I will on occasion have a normal tea. I do not drink coffee. So this is nice and warm on my frozen hands. It is really cold tonight here, for me anyway. So I'm just going to remove the post-it tape and take out our pocket. And I'm going to work out where our buttons will be so I can work out where I want to poke this little strip out. I've got to be careful. I'm just going to have a little bit stick out so it's just going to be a little accent, but I don't want the buttons to be too close to the edge. So I'm thinking perhaps along there. Okay, so what I want to do is grab a pencil. So this is going to be hidden under here. I just want to show that the line goes up to there, and I can erase this line a bit later. That's just going to give me some parameters of where I'm cutting to. So I'm just going to line this up with where I cut, try and make sure it's straight. I can see that that is not straight on that side. Okay, so I'm just going to try and cut up to that line. My trimmer doesn't have, yep, there we go. My trimmer doesn't have much of a way to know where you're up to. So unlike the other Fiskars trimmers with the bar, this is a rotary one. So now I'm just going to grab some glue for this because it's such a fine strip, and I just want this to tuck in here, and I'm not even going to have that much out. I'm just going to have that much out. That tiny little strip, which is going to be fun to line up. So I am going to put some glue on this edge, and then I'm just going to lift this up and place it under, and because I've used liquid glue, we've got work time. I just want a hint of this showing. See how we have that nice little hint there? And I'm going to press that down. And don't worry about that flapping for now. Once we get some tape on the back, you won't even notice that, which is what I'm going to do now. I've got some Express It double-sided tape here. No more flapping about. Taping them all down to make sure it stays together. So we have our little accent. I am just going to pop a tiny dab of glue on here, and then I'm going to press it down. I do not want to have that flat on the card. I'm just going to put, nope, that's not heavy enough. Is that heavy enough? Yeah, that's heavy enough. Put that on there for now. I'm just grabbing this piece of Nina. Okay, we should be stuck now. I'm just going to mark to here and to here, and I'm going to cut this piece off, but I'm going to make it bigger than my cut line where I've indicated. That's just a guideline. And I'm going to grab my Copics. I'm missing a Copic, but that's okay. I'm just going to take my E000 and I'm going to take chisel end, and I am going to colour this whole piece of paper. This is going to be our skin. So I'm going to give it a nice coat in the E000. for some reason I can't find my E00. So we're good and covered, we'll let that dry. So now all I'm doing is I'm going to add in some shading around the neckline. Nothing too special. And then go back in with the lighter colour to blend it all together. I wonder if that needs a refill. Quite possibly. I would have added E00, but I cannot find it. Yeah, it looks like my E00 has grown legs and run away, and I think my E01 is going to be a little bit too much more than I want. So let's see how that looks under there. So that's looking alright. I may actually add just a little bit more of the E000 to build up the colour a bit. Okay, so I'm going to add some tape to the back of that and work out where I want it to go. Okay, I'm just going to use the two lines I just made to help me line this back up where it needs to go. So I know that that line goes just on the outside of that side. Okay, now I can use my Simholt scissors to cut them off because they're non-stick and there's extra tape on there. Just darkening it up a little bit more. So now that's our skin tone for under the shirt. Okay, I'm going to try and line this up with the edge and then just press everything down. I am just going to take a marker along the edge of that. That's probably the wrong colour, but it hides it in a bit better. The paper is quite thick and you could really see that edge. Okay, so we have our skin, we have our collar, we have our accent. I'm grabbing our pocket and our pocket stamps. I am not using the textured pocket stamps this time. Okay, I've gone through my swatches and I think I'm going to go with Archival Sepia. So I did have it in the middle, but I had to move the pocket to the corner because the first time I picked up the die it actually moved, but this time it didn't move after I moved it into the corner, so maybe I could have left it there. Maybe I just pushed down too hard to pick it up, but I was worried that the pocket was going to move. All nice and inked up, giving some pressure. I can see some areas where that hasn't stamped, so I'm just going to do it again. Lovely. So I'm just going to move this aside for now. I have some scraps of cardstock behind me. I'm going to cut a couple of strips. I want them just a little bit shorter than the edges of the pocket. Going to add the tape onto the back of them. Now these are going to raise our pocket up just a little bit because this is going to be a gift card pocket, so that'll make it easier to get a gift card in and out. I'm putting them right up against the edge, and then I'll add tape to the other side of those, but this one time we want it to go all the way down, and then some tape along these bottom edges. Okay, we'll add this to our card, straight back into the spot where it came from. There we go, and now we'll have a gift card opening. Okay, so I have a Woolies Wish gift card and that fits in there nice and snugly, and it's not going to fall out really easily because we didn't raise up the bottom as well. So I've finished my chai tea. I borrowed my fiance's cup. Doctor Who. Now, because I will forget that that gift card is in there and that's an actual gift card that I have to spend, I have just added this one that came from my daughter's purse. I have my twine and things. That's close to that. Then we have the variegated. I think I'm going to go with this one. I did want to use the variegated, but I think the other one looks nicer. That's what we're going with, the one that looks nicer. Now I'm just going to cut lengths of this and thread it through our button in a crisscross pattern, up from behind, into the front diagonally, because this is a 4-hole button. And then I'm going to take this one to the front, and I cut way too much. I probably could have done 2 buttons with that, and thread this one to the front as well. And then I'm just going to tie them in a knot. I know it's supposed to be a shirt, but I don't mind having that little bit at the front. You could do it so that you hid the string at the bottom, but I don't mind having that little bit of extra detail. Sorry, I'm getting it close to my face so I can see what I'm doing. Oh, I think that one might be enough for another one. And I just have to do one more, so I'll cut off another small length and just do the same thing again. In from the front, diagonally across, and then back up from the back. Pull them nice and tight and then tie them in a double knot. You could leave it at one knot, but I'm always worried they're going to come undone, so I just do a double. Okay, so I'm just going to pop some glue on the back and then pop that down, press it into place. I'm going to work out where I want these two buttons. There's one, there's the other. Okay, so we'll just let them dry while we work on our sentiment. Now I've only cut 3 again this time because I don't want it to be too high. Okay, so this one, some of the sticky came off, so I'm going to use, some of the backing of the sticky came off, so I'm going to use it first. And I'm just going to line these up best I can. Okay, now I've got that one on there. I'm going to grab the last one and layer this one up too. So pull that little bit of extra stuff off. When I'm working with layering die cuts, I try and find the thickest part and work from that, and then try and get the thinner bits lined up. I just find it easier, and that really worked well for me with this dad die, lining up this thick bit here because I could stick my fingers in between and it helped line it up perfectly. I have a spare piece of paper, I have the die cut dad, and we have our embossing powder. I am going to open this up ready. I really love the Nouveau packaging, it's so pretty. We need our Nouveau Clear Mark embossing pad that we got in a previous box as our gift, and I'm going to make sure this is generously coated. And then I'm going to throw the embossing powder over the top of it. Just going to grab this and give it a bit of a shake off, and then actually press it in just to make sure we have a good coverage. If it's not enough, I will actually do it again. Okay, so I can see some spots where it's not adhering very well. So we will have to do this in a couple of coats. It's going to put this excess back into the jar. My heat tool's heating up. I had to quickly change my battery because it just died, and I'm just going to hold this while I melt the embossing powder. So pretty, I love this colour. Going to give it a few seconds to cool down, and then I'm going to press it into the Clear Mark pad again and do this again. Really making sure I press it on there this time. Let's go again. Okay, so I think 2 coats is going to be enough. Now I've got a little bit on my mat, but that is alright. It will be nice and easy to get off. Okay, while that dries, I'm just looking for a colour I can use to get that edge to blend in a bit so there's no white on the card. So I'm just going to take some E44 Copic, which is the closest I've got just to get rid of that edge. Just running the Copic along there, just to get rid of that little white bit. Okay, now that our dad has cooled down, going to add that across there, peeling off the backing tape, and then we can stick our dad on the pocket. I'm going to add that there. Okay, so I'm just going to grab an acrylic block and pick that up, and I'm going to grab the sepia ink and stamp "You're the Best," which didn't stamp very well. Okay, so I made a mistake because I didn't use the stamp positioner. That is just not lined up straight now. So the new plan is I'm going to stamp "You're the Best," and we'll throw some embossing powder on them and just heat them up. Okay, so we've got "You're the Best." I am just going to, I'll grab my cool tack because it's close, and this is such a tiny bit, so I'm just going to chop a small piece off to stick behind here. Thankfully this is a very heavyweight pattern paper, so I'm just going to add "You're the Best." And I actually think that it was a good thing that I messed up the stamping because it let me bring a little bit of that extra piece in. Now I'm just going to add some small bits of glue to the back of this just because it doesn't seem to be sticking. I think that's partially because we heated it up and partially because I managed to get embossing powder everywhere. I'm just sticking tiny bits of glue in some places. I don't want it to leak all over the place. I just want it to stick down better. So this is just to help that adhesive stick down. There we go. So we have You're the Best Dad, and we have our little shirt front pocket, and we can fit a gift card in there, and we can stamp a sentiment from our sentiments in the middle. If we want to, we can make up our own sentiment. We could put whatever we want in there. We could make it a Father's Day card, a birthday card. But that is my Hedgehog Colo card for June. And if you liked this card, please hit the like button. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe and hit the bell so that you are notified when new cards come out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.